lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
From Michigan Speedway, it's opening week of the playoffs in the Racers Elite Nextgen series, and these drivers are ready to duke it out in the house that Penske built. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Brooklyn, Michigan. Our top 12 drivers from the regular season head into the playoffs with the points being reset and leveled in some cases, and it's like a whole new season for them. Meanwhile, for those that didn't make these playoffs, it's still an incredible opportunity to play the spoiler role and snag a win, because whether you're in the playoffs or not, there's still a lot on the line for each of these competitors this season. We even have some new faces making their Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series debut tonight here at Michigan, and we can't wait to see what happens tonight. Brandon Honeycutt does sit atop the pile in our point standings with 11 hungry drivers ready to compete to dethrone him and challenge to hoist the championship trophy in Atlanta. I'm Dave Regal alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Daniel Paulus Jr., here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we'd like to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening. because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you in with us tonight. Qualifying well underway, as many of these drivers have already laid down their qualifying laps. Right now, Alan Wild in the 33 machine making his debut, already making himself heard here in the 33 Ford Motorsports Dark Horse. And I'll tell you what, that Mustang looking pretty sweet coming off of there with the Chosen on that 33. So, Alan here with a bunch of these other drivers, especially on his team. I can't wait to reveal some of those to you. In fact, if you tune in with me on a Tuesday night for Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor out of Albemarle, North Carolina, he's here laying his first qualifying lap down in the Racers Elite Next-Gen Cup Series. I can't wait for some of you to see these drivers and, of course, take a peek at our playoff drivers as well. Daniel, it has been a pleasure. I missed you last week, but I'm glad you're here this week.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting week here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. Like you said, all these drivers are going to be starting brand new. The top 12 drivers, they're going to be fighting for a championship this season. And, these championship playoffs, they're very, very crucial here. You do not want to make any mistakes, especially the first race in, because you're going to dig yourself into a hole, and you don't want to do that. You want to have a good start, so then if you do dig yourself in a hole, at least you can work your way back into the playoffs, so then you're not going to get eliminated. But, this is going to bring on a new challenge to all these playoff drivers. You're going to see them make aggressive moves. And here at Michigan, Dave, they go pretty fast, almost 200 miles per hour here.
Yeah, fast is not even the beginning of how things move here at Michigan. I mean, this is the house that Penske built. And as the faster pastor crosses the start-finish line, he's going to go 14th fastest on the timing line tonight. So, obviously, all things starting to point toward the playoffs as we're here in the opening week. And let's take a look at those point standings that we've all been waiting for the last couple of weeks, just to see what kind of setting we were going to have tonight. As I had said, Brandon Honeycutt, he leads the way here with 2,009 points. We reset everything tonight, and all of a sudden we're going to see a tie here for second position between Ira Kohlhaas and Kensley Smith. Then 2,003 points with Dennis Kane and Brandon Zimmerman. Then everybody else from 6th back through 12th with 2,000 points. So just 9 points separating, the bottom from the top of the playoff drivers. That makes it exciting. And you can look right here at the teams for these playoffs. A lot of driving extreme, a lot of chicken coop racing. But the ones to keep your eyes on are the ones from the smaller teams. Truth Hoke from the Outsiders, Jason Bottoms from Full Send Esports, and, of course, Greg Robinson as well in the 8 car. These are people that we can't, they may not be, have teammates in the playoffs, so to speak, but they're still people that you can't sleep on in this league.
With that being said, these playoff drivers, they're not going to be buddies in these playoffs, Dave. We've seen it before. You could be leading this last lap here, but you have a playoff driver behind you and they get a run on you here at Michigan. They're not going to be buddy and let you fly off with that win. They're going to race you extremely hard, and you're going to see that throughout this whole race.
Yeah, and the coolest thing, and I've said it before, and I was actually just talking to the faster pastor off air, and one of the things that I've always been fascinated with this league about is that they race clean. We had flag to flag at Talladega several weeks ago, and, it's not often at all that you can go flag to flag at any racetrack that's not a road course, much less a place like Talladega Super Speedway. In fact, Matt Schlosser making his return here in the 400 machine. He just went 8th fastest, and there's some names that are popping up on the timing line tonight that I got to tell you, man, I'm excited to see what happens here tonight. And speaking of tonight, let's take a quick look at that race info. 72 degrees in the stands here in Brooklyn, Michigan. 113 degrees on the asphalt here at qualifying. So, the thing is, for this 2-mile racetrack, that's toasty. That's going to make these cars slip, slide around. Let's take a moment here and see if we can find any of our playoff drivers. Let's see if we can find Honeycutt. Nope, of course not. So we're going to get a hold of Andrew Teft from Chicken Coop Racing. Hey, Andrew, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Hey, man, I know that you're in the. You know what? Let me just keep my mouth shut while you qualify.
All good.
As Andrew Teft, chief cook and bottle washer here at Racers Elite, makes his qualifying effort. Let's take a peek at him as he runs down the back chute from Hope Valley, Rhode Island. You know, Andrew, we're here in opening week of the playoffs, and I can't be more excited because this, to me, is what this whole season's been leading up to.
Yeah, and we have a lot of great additions this week. I'm just excited to see how it all plays out and how we all interact. Had a great opportunity to add a lot of guys I was already familiar racing with from another league, and it's just a great deal for all of us.
I'll tell you what, speaking of really great drivers, you just laid a 38.99 down to go P2 on the timing line. That's incredible. I mean, 300th of a second off of Alan Wild. I mean, you know, you were talking about some of the people that you've added to the league. I got to be honest with you. Stoney Benfield is probably one of the coolest ads that I've seen. He's the faster pastor. I see him on Tuesday nights in Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action. Let me tell you, that is one of the most competitive drivers you'll ever see that wears a collar on Sunday.
That's good to hear. I don't have as much experience with him, but I know a lot of these guys, and I know they're going to be a great fit. You know, I'm just excited to see how competitive it is really.
Yeah, and you know, I was talking to Daniel about, you know, the competitiveness, and not only that, but the cleanness of the racing here. How do you justify the way that these drivers are? Is that skill, or is that, you know, discipline that gets these guys in and around here with clean cars at the end of the race?
A little bit of both. I try to preach racing smart with all my friends here. It's, you know, just better for both parties usually, not racing side by side, lap after lap, and I think just racing smarter, knowing that a lot of these races are going to go green, and you need to manage your long runs, and just valuing certain positions. It just leads to cleaner racing. That, in addition to the, you know, incident caps and stuff like that, just makes you use your head a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, listen, 3 seconds left in qualifying. I want to thank you for the opportunity, as always, to have us with you here in the broadcast booth. I love calling this league Thursday nights. I'm always looking forward to. So good luck, buddy, and happy playoffs.
Hey, yeah, do me a favor and interview me more often. Maybe I'll qualify better.
I got you, buddy. Thanks. Going to get Andrew back on down to Chicken Coop Racing, as, of course, he is the chief cook and bottle washer here in this league. And I'll tell you what, we're always very happy to have them with us as partners here at Sim Racing Media. And it's time now for the starting lineup, Daniel, as we take a look here at Alan Wild. Alan Wild going to be your pole sitter. He's going to be sitting alongside of Andrew Teft on the front row, as Andrew Teft still yet to climb into the 98 machine after qualifying. Joe Hudson, there's the 98. Joe Hudson has the 49 lined up here from Ameritron Batteries on the inside of row number 2, alongside Brandon Zimmerman from Gloucester. Row 3 featuring Diego Rodriguez and Brandon Honeycutt out of Elizabethton, Tennessee. Glenn Campbell, but not the Rhinestone Cowboy, in row number 4 alongside Mike Montesi here in the 17. Kensley Smith starting in 9th position alongside Matt Schlosser, making his return to the fold from Frederick, Maryland, with Ira Kohlhaas and Truth Hoke, a couple of playoff drivers, starting in row number 6. Row 7 featuring Joey Gattina and Brian Wertman. Row 8 going to have Jason Bottoms and Shannon Wood. Gregory Robinson and the faster pastor out of Albemarle, North Carolina. Stoney Benfield starting in row number 9 with Troy Thomas and Alex Teft, rounding out your starting top 20 in row number 10. Row 11 going to have Dennis Kane and Sam Kohlhaas, while Curtis Eckert and Kevin Stone going to be rolling off in row number 12. Row 13 going to be Jason Brudrick and Marshall Harris, with Noah Tansman and Rick Kennedy in row 13. Row 14 going to be Dakota Bly and Jason Brudrick, while Jonathan Leach, our boss man here in the throwback paint scheme, the ESBN look, number 86, rolling off here on pit road out of Shreveport, Louisiana. 80 laps the scheduled distance tonight, Daniel. And I'll tell you what, man, this is going to be one of those races that we're going to have to definitely keep in our memory.
Oh, it's going to be in our memories for a long time because, you know, these drivers here, I wouldn't be shocked, Dave, if we do see 3 wide here tonight. 3, 4 wide. You know these drivers are going to get that run off of turn number 4. But again, tire wear, that is what we're going to be looking for. Are you going to want to push your car early on?
The iRacing.com pace car is down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab the sunscreen. It's all kinds of hot. Race fans, it's show time. I hated to cut you off, Daniel, but we are racing here at Michigan Speedway, the house that Penske built. Alan Wild with the jump over Joe Hudson.
No, that's fine right there, Dave. But like I was mentioning, do you want to see these drivers using that tire wear early on, making those aggressive moves, or you just want to relax? Yes, it's a playoff race, but think about it. You do not want to put yourself in a hole. You're seen right there for a lead. They're side by side.
They go door to door coming out of turn number 4, and it becomes Joe Hudson crossing the line, getting credit for leading lap number 1. Alan Wild running P2. You have to remember that Michigan handles itself a lot like a super speedway in some respect. It's 2 miles long, it's low banked, and it's all kinds of fast.
Here they go into turn 3. You're seeing right there. Gonna try making our move. He's gonna block that inside run there. Will he go to the top? No, he won't.
Playoff driver is going to be highlighted in blue tonight. You can also see the playoff drivers like Andrew Teft here in the 98 as he works his way over top of Alan Wild. On their windshields and the rear spoiler on these machines, you'll see blue trim, so you'll be able to pick them out pretty easy. There's the 65 of Brandon Zimmerman running in 4th position right now. Right now, Andrew Teft going to be your highest running playoff driver as he now climbs into 2nd position. Joey Gattina, though, back here in 12th position, just laid fast time down at 39.01 in the Hooters number 7 Ford Mustang. He's getting ready to take it 3 wide as we run out of turn number 4.
Oh.
He thinks better of it. Ira Kohlhaas ahead of him gets a little wiggly.
Look at Zimmerman.
As we look here from the blimp cam, we can see the 400 of Matt Schlosser, and cutting through the field like a hot knife through butter is the 44 of Glenn Campbell, who is just sliding up through here. A lot of speed locked up on the top side of this racetrack as Diego Rodriguez looking for some kind of a draft partner coming down the backstretch. He's going to get it in the form of Kensley Smith driving the number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro with that DEI paint scheme. I've talked about it all year long. It makes me happy. That's for sure, as all of a sudden Teft goes down to the inside, crossing the start-finish line here on lap number 6. Lap number 5, as they are 4 wide coming through the trioval.
Wow.
And still holding it together. We were just talking about making smart decisions, and they're still doing it. As all of a sudden Teft comes up and brushes the 33 back. That's Alan Wild, our pole sitter. So now Wild starts to kind of melt through the standings here as Mike Montesi now takes the high side and puts Alan Wild, the meat in the middle of this 3-wide sandwich.
3-wide sandwich. They're all over the place right now. Look at that 29 of Kohlhaas right there, working his way up on the inside line, side by side from 20 of Rodriguez. And there he is, Dave. The 20 of Rodriguez up here competing for the top 5.
Diego Rodriguez looking to see if he can get any kind of speed, but right now, as we're going to ride along with Matt Schlosser, we can see Schlosser here trying to look for some kind of, ground where he can go. As we come through turns 3 and 4, he's currently in the middle and still holding it nice and steady. Let's spin this camera around, folks. As we look, he's got the 33 of Alan Wild behind him, the 59 of Truth Hoke in tow, and all by his lonesome is Matt Schlosser here in the number 400 as he is back with us here from Frederick, Maryland.
Not a huge surprise that we see the 65 of Zimmerman and the 15 of Kensley Smith, 2 playoff drivers here out of 12, all right inside the top 3. But then you got a big gap, Dave, all the way from 3rd to 8th for non-playoff drivers. So you see the 59 of Truth Hoke and Andrew Tepp, they're going to have to work their way up. through those drivers.
Well, where Glenn Campbell is right now running in third position in the 44, at this point, you know, he can play that spoiler. He's got himself set up in a nice, comfortable position, but right now we're looking at Ira Kohlhaas working the low side. He's got no help in front of him, and all of a sudden it comes in the form of the 13 from behind him. They suddenly decide that they want to take this all kinds of crazy going down the back chute. Whoa! The 17,
Oh,
here
no!
goes Teft
Is that
against
Andrew
the wall.
Teft?
There's cars everywhere. Keep it moving
It's Andrew
forward,
Teft.
boys. Andrew Teft with the save of the day here on lap number 8. We're going to take a look
man.
back at that. My God. What a move from Andrew Teft to stay out of
He
trouble and
saved
keep us moving green.
I mean, that was an incredible save there. That could have gone a lot worse.
We're going to the replay here as Teft bounced off the 8, bounced off the 400, hits the wall, goes down, avoids Kohlhaas in the 29. Everybody scrambles for safety as everybody manages to move forward. Guys, listen, that was absolutely artistic. I mean, it does not get better than that. We're going to take one more look at it from our drone cam that was just a little bit better positioned here. Well, maybe it wasn't. Let's see if we can get it from the nose here of Teft. Here it is. Teft is bouncing. He goes against the wall. Hey! Now watch this, and watch this from everybody behind him, because this was incredible. Watch everybody start to scatter. It's like turning the lights on around cockroaches. They all just run away. And somehow, Andrew Teft manages to keep it moving forward. And we're now here on lap number 10 of 80 at Michigan Speedway. Keeping an eye right now on Diego Rodriguez in the 20. You talked about him a moment ago. He's back here in 9th position with that Mobile 1 kind of throwback. That's a weird Mobile 1 look, that's for sure, as he leads Ira Kohlhaas in the 29. I mean, we are seeing some of the most incredible racing here on week 1 of the playoffs, and we're only on the 11th lap. Diego Rodriguez right now running in 10th position as Brandon Zimmerman leads the way now. He's being challenged by just less than 0.2 of a second by Glenn Campbell. We're going to ride along with Campbell now as Campbell looks to the high side. He's kind of burping that throttle, keeping the tires cool as he now looks to the underside. He gets a run here on the run out of turn 2 and down the back chute. He can get just up against the rear bumper of the 65. He even gives him a little bump as if we're at a super speedway. It's not enough to loosen the 65 and get around, so he's going to have to make another run. He's going to get it probably once again coming down the backstretch if he can't get a run here on the 65.
Well, that's where you're going to get the run, the front and the back stretch here at Michigan. Seen right now, the 15 of Kensley Smith in third, using that outside line to his advantage, and that 44 trying to get past the 65 does not happen, but he's going to be side by side with the 15, now falling back to third. Look at all those different grooves being made here, Dave.
Noah Tansman must have gotten a little nicked up there in the Teft incident, because he has dropped to the pits after just those 5 laps.
There we go, 3 wide for the lead. Campbell to the inside at 15.65. Is he going to be clear? He's going to have a good entry point here in 1. It's going to be the 15 of Kensley Smith right now.
Smith absolutely wore them out and made the pass for the lead out of a 3-wide situation. Now the 44 looks to try to parallel park, and look at the speed that he's trying to do this at.
Contact.
Oh, my. I mean, the 44 is trying to parallel park at 180 miles per hour. It's not going to work out for him. I'm not a swami, but I'm certainly not an idiot. So he definitely can't be trying to squeeze in between the 65 and the 15. He may have to think about this and reload to make another run at the lead. As we work lap number 15 here, 5 total sets of tires, 4 changes, so they're laying 4, starting 5 out of 80. That probably puts their puts their pit cycles around 30 laps,
The
30 to 40 laps.
Robinson gone to the outside wall off of turn 2, the entrance of the back straightaway. Falling back to 9th place.
We're starting to develop a couple different packs here. As that front pack about 10. Whoa! Watch the 8 bounce into the 7 of Joey Gattina. Gregory Robinson having to reel it back in as they are now 3 wide with Ira Kohlhaas the high side. Robinson takes the 8th position away from Kohlhaas, and Joey Gattina has to look on from behind. As then there's about 6/10 of a second back to another group of drivers. This is Diego Rodriguez back through Brandon Honeycutt. And there goes the 29. All kinds of mayhem. Caution number 1 flies. And my goodness, this isn't going to be easy there, Ira. As he backs it around to try to get himself righted. Let's take a look here.
He went for a ride, didn't he?
Yeah, that's an understatement. Let's take a look. Let's watch the 29. He works just over top of the 8. That's Greg Robinson, the 7. Just below. Robinson rubs the wall and bounces in, and basically Robinson just took a race car to the face.
Man.
That is not the way that you want to be here on lap 16, now 17.
Definitely not the way Ira Kohlhaas thought his night was going to go, but man, very unfortunate, but I mean, it's racing, so got to move on from it.
We're going to watch this again, and maybe we can get a little bit better of an angle here, as they should go sliding right past our nose. There they are. Ay. Obviously, everybody safely out and around, as there goes Kohlhaas. Thank you to our camera operator here on the backstretch. That's going to trigger wholesale pit stops here on the front stretch. Kensley Smith leads the way as we come down pit road. It is a parade for sure as we take a look at everybody now. And I'll tell you what, as Kensley Smith pulls here into the pits, whoop, too far. This makes Jiffy Lube look like they're a little slow. Here comes Andrew Teft, one of the last cars to come down pit road. This can be a benefit to him. Maybe get some of that damage that he incurred after, bumping and grinding against everybody on the backstretch earlier. As it seems like, turn 2 is going to be Calamity Corner. As we see everybody now, scamper off of pit road. Glenn Campbell going to be your race leader now as he scurries out ahead of everybody else. Kensley Smith brings the 15 just behind him. So it's going to be Campbell, Smith, Joe Hudson, Brandon Zimmerman, Joey Gattina, your top 5 coming off of pit road. We'll take a look here. Kensley Smith, your highest ranked playoff driver, with Brandon Zimmerman in the 50 and the 65, going to be restarting on the outside of row 2. So everybody having to scramble here, get back up behind the iRacing.com pace car. And folks, I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening here on Sim Racing Media. Welcome in to the YouTube.com live chat. Jonathan Leach giving a shout-out to the SRM and Racers Elite team. Thank you, boss. As Peaks World cheering on the 33, Alan Wild. I've got to be waiting for Barb Opinion and some of the folks from the Faster Pastors Church. They follow us on a Tuesday night during Tuesday Night NASCAR with yours truly at the microphone. And I'll tell you what, Daniel, you haven't really crossed paths with him yet, but Stoney Benfield here in the 75, he has one of the biggest followings of almost anybody that I ever get to see here on the iRacing.com service.
Really?
It seems like half of his church comes to watch our races on Tuesdays.
Well, I mean, that's great. I mean, more support. Really good. As you see the field now doubled up here, getting ready to go after our first caution of the night. I mean, Dave, now that we have pit stops done, these drivers are going to go at it again. You see the anticipation ramping up soon again?
Yeah, everybody right now strapping down the belts one more time. They give them a little bit of a wiggle there during caution laps, but now it's time to tighten them up and get those gloves readjusted on the hands, as we see right now Truth Hoke getting himself, cleaning some of the debris off the tires, getting some of those marbles off of there, as the iRacing.com pace car leads us into turn number 3. Want to encourage everybody to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for us right here on Sim Racing Media. If you haven't done so, why haven't you? Give us a subscribe, give us a like, let us know what you're watching, who you're listening for, and we'll see if we can get them on camera tonight. As Glenn Campbell leads us, he has opted for the high side. Over top of Kensley Smith, the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road, as the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Campbell enters the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal, and we're back underway.
Watch that 65 of Zimmerman there, right behind the 44 of Campbell. Let's see what they do here in turn 1. Gonna go 3 wide.
There they go with Kensley Smith in the middle of this 3-wide sandwich. He keeps it together. Contact. It's almost expected. There they go. He's going to take him down. Kensley Smith trying to reel in the 15. The Napa machine has to get reeled in. Maybe he should have had the Bass Pro Shops on there and got himself a reel to try to come on back under control here as we work lap number 20. A quarter of this race already in the books tonight. Kensley Smith out of Tarboro, North Carolina, having near calamity on the back chute as he was bumping and grinding coming through there. It was like a nightclub in the 90s or the early 2000s.
I'm sure.
You weren't.
I'm sure the 15. I wasn't, but I'm sure the 15 was not happy about that move there.
Now the 15 now having to gather himself back up and watch the 20 of Diego Rodriguez just over top of him. Alex Teft now running the 43 just ahead, but the 49 of Joe Hudson is where we're going to go next. We can see right here as Hudson all but going to be bump drafting Kensley Smith coming down the front stretch. We can see these moves being made now. He's got to hit him square, otherwise bad things can happen to these next-gen cars under drafting conditions.
Top 2 pulling away from the pack here. I mean, Dave, you're starting to wonder, are these going to be our top 2 contenders for the race win tonight? I mean, I don't know. It's early on still. I don't want to say anything, but, I mean, they're putting on a great performance here tonight. It seems like they can get every restart really good. They can get the runs really good. They're not, being so aggressive right now, unlike some of these other drivers where, they're making moves, using their tire wear up. And, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I don't think I've ever gotten the runs real good. If I got the runs, then it's not good at all. It's not good for anybody.
Well, that third place car is reeling them in once again. Oh, somebody's off the track back there.
Can't see who it is, but it looks like we're going to stay green flag racing as we take a peek here at Shannon Wood in the deuce. That Chevrolet Camaro now working the underside of Matt Schlosser in the 400. He's got Jason Bottoms all over his rear. You weren't going to give me any credit for having the runs. You're just going to let me go with that one. This kid. Folks, welcome to the broadcast booth where usually we like to chuckle at dirty jokes, but apparently that one just went right over my young friend's head.
Yeah, that one did. But yeah, anyway, back to Michigan. This track, it's very unique. You could literally have 4 different lines here, Dave. You don't have to stay in one line, but what we like to see out of these drivers is throughout this run, you're going to start seeing them not use that inside lane as much. You might see them use that outside lane more, or vice versa. So, I mean, this track is really up in the air. Because what I'm seeing right now, Dave, I don't know if you're seeing it, but they're moving up the track little by little at this point.
I do see that as we have another battle for the lead breaking out. We can see the 65 of Brandon Zimmerman, playoff driver, getting alongside of Glenn Campbell. They go fender to fender into turn 3. Looks like Campbell's going to back off for now and try to allow a little bit of extra room here for Zimmerman. You don't want to be the one that takes out the playoff driver as they come out of 4 and onto the front stretch. Campbell's going to take the apron and try to use this to slingshot himself up ever so closely. My God. to the 65 of Zimmerman, and they are just going to get out the hammer and tongs early tonight to duke it out atop the pile.
Well, with these two battling side by side, that's going to allow that 15 of Kensley Smith to get a run and get around these two drivers. You know, I think off of turn 4, we might see him go 3 wide. Not sure yet, but Campbell's still trying to fight on that inside right now.
Kensley Smith, I was telling a couple of guys earlier before the race, you know, when I was talking to Pastor Benfield, you know, Kensley Smith is not an aggressive driver, but he will wear the pants out of you. You know, I mean, he will just sit back here lurking for lap after lap. And the minute that you blink, it's all over and he takes it away from you. As we now have a 3-way battle for the lead between Brandon Zimmerman, Kensley Smith, and the 44 of Glenn Campbell. As Campbell now having to cede that away, he's got Joey Gattina running in P7. Their teammates right back there. As all of a sudden things have heated up to lunatic speed.
Oh my goodness! Look at that top 5. They're like all within a second of each other. I mean, this is insane. They're on top of each other.
Redemption Motorsports teammates Joey Gattina and Glenn Campbell side by side. All of a sudden, Alex Teft makes it all but 3 wide here, coming out of
4
3.
wide.
4 wide. And
I don't
another
think I ever saw
Redemption
that.
Motorsports driver gets into the mix, coming out of 2 and down the back chute. These drivers not willing to give it up. We have to get the standings out of the way so we can see the whole field. My goodness, they are absolutely harassing each other around the racetrack here on lap number 28.
Dave, I don't think I ever saw 4 wide off of turn number 2 ever here at Michigan. Maybe 3 wide, but not 4 wide. And this is the first time for me. These drivers have put on an excellent show here tonight.
Obviously, you've never been to Shady Maple. That's where you can always see 4 wide as we all waddle over.
Never
toward
been
the
there.
table.
I'm looking to go there, but I've never been there. How is it there? You been there?
Have I been there? When I say 4 wide, that's just me going to get
Yeah,
an
that was
omelet
a
for
stupid
breakfast.
question. Of course you've been there.
You go over to Shady Maple on a Friday, you go over, you hit Green Dragon. Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're both Pennsylvanians. The only difference is I'm slightly more worldly than my young friend. He is like a Padawan learner to my Jedi Master level. And Shady Maple is 5,280 feet of food. The nation's largest smorgasbord. And it's delicious. And quite frankly, it puts every other buffet that you've ever been to shame. I don't care how good the crab legs are at the China King buffet. Shady Maple is where it's at. And I'll tell you what else is where it's at. Kensley Smith here on the low side coming out of 2. Everybody kissing the wall and leaving a mark as we shoot down the back stretch now. Kensley Smith challenging for P2. Gets to the inside of Brandon Zimmerman, a pair of playoff drivers out here to go at it, coming through turns 3 and 4, battling it out for the lead. This could absolutely start to seal the deal for their championship runs as the 44 of Glenn Campbell out of Redemption Motorsports, a newcomer to the league, is shoving Kensley Smith down the front stretch and into turn 1.
Shoving. They're literally on top of each other. I mean, for a second there, the 44 was all over the 15. Kensley Smith gave him a great lead. And now he's going to lose that lead to the 65 of Zimmerman, who's getting a great push into turn 3. Oh, we might go 3 wide. Here we go. 3 wide again.
Contact between the 15 and the 7 as they are 3 wide and tighter than a snare drum. My God. Here goes everybody scrambling away for safety. Good Lord.
And that's how fast you can go from second to, what, outside top 10?
Second to 7th for Kensley Smith, as now that opens the door for another Redemption Motorsports driver, Alan Wild, to get up here and battle it out for the lead with Brandon Zimmerman and Glenn Campbell. They are bumping one another down the backstretch. This has got to be some of the most competitive racing and clean competitive racing that I've seen from this league in all the weeks that we've been calling.
Would you list this as a risky move to do that at Michigan?
I'd say this is risky business. Especially
I would say that too.
When you're out in front
I mean, I wouldn't want to make one little mistake.
You've got 12 cars behind you. If you make one mistake, you're about to take it right up the tailpipe.
Yeah, that's for sure. Look at 43 working hard on the 33.
Kensley Smith rubs the wall coming out of turn 2 down the back chute. He's got the 43 of Alex Teft and the 49 of Joe Hudson just below him. He's got to start watching those two as we work lap number 33. Everybody came down pit road for service 15 laps ago, so we're just about at that window once again. As we're nearing the halfway point, 6 to go this time by to the halfway point. Not a whole lot to try to stay away from here as we head down the backstretch. Single file they are down through Diego Rodriguez running in P8. He now splits out with Matt Schlosser on the high side, welcoming Dennis Kane into the battle now, as it's almost a 10-car battle for the top 10 because everybody is clawing at each other's eyes. Joey Gattina now, after challenging for the lead, running in 11th position. Mike Montesi in 12th. The faster Pastor Stoney Benfield in 13th. Kevin Stone 14th. And Marshall Harris back here rounding out the top. I'm sorry, Greg Robinson now rounding out the top 15. Greg Robinson
44 pulling away. 44 pulling away in turns 3 and 4, but there is a nice little battle going on here for second place, and you're seeing Kensley Smith just dropping like a fly there, going down the front straightaway by multiple drivers here.
Watching Brandon Zimmerman run in P2 right now, holding off Joe Hudson and Alan Wild. The 33 and the 49. The 49 of Hudson works the low side. He now has to sort of bleed out just a little bit. He's got to leak some of that space that he's got between himself and Alan Wild as they come down the backstretch. They're still looking to see who's it going to be and who's going to manage to come out on top for this battle.
Not only that, Dave, but you got to think of it. This whole race, it could be a total upset for the 44. He could be leading, but then we could go into an overtime where he might not be winning this race. It could be anybody in this race. So you got to keep it open-minded here a little bit. But look at this. For second place, they were 3 wide and now back down to 2. But we might go 3 wide again, but not going to happen. As you see these drivers now making their way into turns 3 and 4 here. See Diego Rodriguez on that top line. You see the 400 on the top line there. Everybody moving up that track ever since the start. They moved from the bottom of the track to the middle of the track. Now just a little bit above the middle line there. Now he's in that high groove, trying to get a good run here. But everybody chasing down that 44 of Campbell, who's been dominating every lap since he's been out front. And he's been stretching that lead ever since, but green flag pit stops are approaching us very, very fast here. I mean, we're already on lap 38. Going to be going on lap 39 when we cross the line here.
Glenn Campbell is absolutely out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo on lap number 38. 39 at the line, as Daniel just said. We look back behind him, and it is all kinds of a mess. These drivers still back here duking it out as the Advent Health number 43, driven by Alex Teft, brother of Andrew Teft, tries to now work the inside of the 400. That's Matt Schlosser here in almost a City Chevrolet paint scheme, even though he's driving a Ford Mustang. And that Dark Horse Mustang running down the backstretch, all but nose to tail, with Schlosser behind. With Teft behind and Zimmerman ahead, as they still haven't sorted themselves out. We look back here to the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield with the 75 NC811.org Ford Mustang. I'm used to seeing him in the NC811.org Ford F-150 on Tuesday nights. You can tune in right here at 8:30 p.m. on Sim Racing Media if you want to hang out with me for the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series. And let me tell you, those drivers incredibly skilled. I know right now Stoney's just trying to feel these other drivers out, but look, in his first night, he's already up 6 positions from where he had qualified back in 18th. Alex Teft, though, he's our big mover of the night right now, plus 15 on the timing line since the green flag dropped.
Oh man, look at that Hornet's Nest all the way back through the middle of the pack there. That is not where you want to be right now if you are a driver.
Yet these guys still trying to feel one another out. I mean, we're at the halfway point right now, 40 to go. As we come out of turn 2, everybody's starting to tighten up a little bit, and that's something that you're going to see at this racetrack, which, you know, I feel like no matter what setup you have, no matter what your skill level is, you wind up getting tight toward the end of these runs here. As we can see, Campbell and Hudson all by their lonesome up here. As we're going to take a look at the drivers coming into turn number 1. I want to watch all of them come out of 2 and see who can make it nice and clean. Wow, there goes the 7 down through. That's Joey Gattina underneath Alex Teft, as now Gattina makes the pass on Teft as we head down the backstretch. Let's see who rubs the wall and who might be fighting tight. As it doesn't get much closer for some of these guys, that's for sure.
You can say that again, but I mean, Dave, these drivers cannot be doing this multiple laps, because if one driver makes a mistake, they're all going to be in a lot of hurt. Because, I mean, with this close racing, it's not just going to be a one single car wreck. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to be.
No, in fact, I'm looking here at the 33 of Alan Wild. He's right in the middle of the Wild. The question always was, where do the Wild things go? And it's right here to Michigan in the house that Penske built, 2 miles around this racetrack. We take a quick peek here at our weather conditions. 113 degrees on the asphalt yet, so that may be what's keeping some of these guys just loose enough to keep the speeds up here. But I'll tell you what, all things considered, these guys are doing a heck of a job keeping it pointed forward. Just 2 cautions for cause tonight with 44 laps in the books.
Can't believe that we're past halfway, Dave. This race is going by so quickly here.
Look, Thursday night is always the fastest night of the week here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank all of you for joining us in the youtube.com live chat. As it says, Adrian DeGoat says his mom lives in Frederick, Maryland. Well, that's good to know.
I hear more cars making contact on that
if
wall.
you're in the Frederick, Maryland neighborhood, you should check out Adrian DeGoat's mom and say hello.
Really?
Glenn Campbell leads the way, yes, really, as Joe Hudson goes P2. They're separated by 1.56 seconds right now, so a big gap. And then 3 seconds back to Brandon Zimmerman, and that's where things are undecided. It's the 17 of Mike Montesi has Matt Schlosser above. He's got Alex Teft below, and 3 wide, and now entering the battle in the 7. Wow. He has got to have the largest cojones of anybody here on the racetrack, as Joey Gattina just shoved the 17 forward to clean up that 3 wide situation.
Hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? If you want to move forward, that's what you got to do here at Michigan. These guys are not backing down for one lap. They are all hardcore going at it, battling side by side, 3, 4 wide. Incredible racing, and these drivers, I couldn't ask
just
for a
ahead
better
of
performance. Oh no!
That's the 59, the 59 of Truth Hope.
Truth Hope.
As he has just ripped the nose off of the 59, the Wrangler machine. Let's see what happened here.
That's a shame.
A shame is an understatement. We see Hoke working the low side, just gets tight and slides right into the deuce of Shannon Wood. Let's take another look here from our drone cam as it was in the area. We can see once again, I'm sorry, that was the 21 of Marshall Harris, as Hoke just kind of started to tighten up right into Harris. They collect the 8 of Greg Robinson, a playoff driver. So that's going to affect things for sure, as maybe that's where we know that the limit is, because I'm sure right now that's going to trigger wholesale pit stops as pit road is open here at Michigan Speedway.
And with that, you know everybody's going to be coming down pit road to get new tires and fuel. Now, Dave, how many sets of tires do we get? I forget. What was it? 5 sets? Okay, so if these drivers are getting 5 sets, they're going to have 3 sets left. So, if we do go green, have another caution, probably go use that 3rd set. But if we get to the point where we have more cautions, do they save a set? Or do we just not even use all 5 sets and go for it?
Look, I say you go for it no matter what. Go big or go home. It's the playoffs, man.
You can't argue with that, now can you, if you're a playoff driver? But for these other drivers, they're not focusing on a playoff spot. They're not focusing on a championship. All they're here to do is win. But Dave, as a playoff driver, these playoff drivers get so frustrated. And I understand that because I've used to do racing on iRacing.
Winning the battle off of pit road is Glenn Campbell. He's going to be followed by Brandon Zimmerman, Matt Schlosser, Joe Hudson, Alex Teft, Joey Gattina, Brandon Honeycutt, Alan Wild, and sideways is the 17 of Mike Montesi. I don't think he meant to park that away. In fact, I'm going to run this back and see what happened with the 17 because I know he didn't want to go there. Let's see what happens as he rolls off of pit road. They drop the right side. We're going to go right here to the nose of Montesi. Oh, yeah, he probably, I think that was a good money, bad money shift, if you will, for Montesi. So that's going to shuffle him all the way back to 22nd. 49 laps in the books. 30 to go coming up soon. And Daniel, this race has just evaporated before our eyes.
You can say that again, but like I was mentioning, Dave, for these playoff drivers, it's very frustrating to get around these non-playoff drivers, and that's because, you know, these non-playoff drivers, they're going to race you hard even though they're not in the playoffs. They want a win. They're not worried about a championship. But these playoff drivers are worried about every point, every position, trying to get that win, trying to get to a championship. But they got to get around these non-playoff drivers. And I can see some playoff drivers get frustrated from this.
Yeah, of course, as we had mentioned, when we have the tower up, you'll see those playoff drivers listed, of course, in blue, and their windshields and rear spoilers are also trimmed in blue. And we take a look at our standings right now. Brandon Honeycutt is our points leader coming into tonight, and all things considered, it's not going as well for him as he'd like here in the 23, now marked as the 13, because right now he sits in P8. Brandon Zimmerman, meanwhile, he's sitting nice and pretty here. Currently in points, Brandon Zimmerman runs in 4th. He's, of course, one of the drivers with 2,003 points. So this could be very helpful for him if he can try to finish ahead of Kane, Smith, and Kohlhaas, if not Honeycutt, or win outright. iRacing.com pace car is down pit road. All of a sudden, Campbell hits the loud pedal, and we go back. Green flag racing. Joe Hudson and Joey Gattina in hot pursuit, but Brandon Zimmerman trying to get it rolling. Now with the 400 of Matt Schlosser getting ready to split him in the 33 apart.
Well, that didn't work now as we're under our 3rd caution for the night here on lap 51. Past halfway, getting into the closing laps here of this race. And Dave, if they do go green, you know you're going to see exciting battles. You know you're going to see all that happening. So we take a look at our replay here.
Oh, it looks like all kinds of mayhem. In fact, this may have involved Stony Benfield here in the 75. I see some drivers blinking out to go on down pit road. Let's see what happened. At least from this perspective, we see the restart, and they start to, the low line kind of checked up, and that caused a chain reaction that took out, Stony Benfield in the 75. Pace car working his way through 3 and 4. Glenn Campbell's got to get caught up here before dumb things happen to timing and scoring. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're going to step aside for our one and only time to pay the bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. He's Daniel Paulus, and this is Sim Racing Media.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Michigan Speedway here in the Racers Elite Nextgen Cup Series, week 1 of the playoffs. It's opening night here at the house that Penske built. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth on Sim Racing Media. We're glad to have you with us tonight. Make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and give us a like there in the youtube.com live chat. Let us know what you're listening for, who you're listening to, and who you want to see on screen. As they go 3 wide, the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt puts the 7 of Joey Gattina 3 wide right up against the 400 of Matt Schlosser, and Schlosser slides directly in front of the nose of Alan Wild, who now has to check up and slow down just in front of Alex Teff to avoid calamity here on lap number 57. About 23 to go this time by at the line, as Glenn Campbell leads the way with Joe Hudson and Brandon Zimmerman in tow.
No, I'm not going to focus on too much of this, but back there, I thought the 33 a while was going to go 4 wide, but it was a good decision not to risk it for a biscuit, as I like to call it, and try to use a different lane here and stay behind the 3 wide situation. You see him coming off of turn 4. He's going to try to stay with this pack here on the outside. As you see right in front of him, the 44 Schlosser doing an excellent job here tonight. And Dave, he really hasn't been outside the top 5 much of the night. He's been inside the top 5.
Yeah, he has been around here all night long as Alex Teff and now Kensley Smith get in here to start to tango down the back chute and into turn number 3. Kensley Smith getting ready to try to wear out Alex Teft in the 43. Teft goes wide, and that opens the door for a 3 wide situation with the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt on the low side. That puts the meat of the sandwich to be Kensley Smith, and Smith just blows the doors right off of Honeycutt, our points leader. I'm sorry, wrong Honeycutt. Or does that somehow... Oh, I know why. He's being scored as the 23. Let's fix that. You go ahead and talk while I fix that graphic.
All right, just seeing this pack now. On lap 59, going to be crossing the line on lap 60 out of 80. So you know what that means. 20 laps to go here in the first playoff race in the Next Gen Cup Series here, with Campbell leading the way and has been leading the way ever since he's gotten this lead. Had 2 pit stops already. Has done excellent job. No drivers making any mistakes there. No speeding or anything like that. But right now, a playoff driver has taken that lead. That being the 65 is Zimmerman, but that 44 is still going to be battling side by side there for second. But here comes the 400 and a sloucher right there, up the second. Let's see if he can hold on to that spot as they enter turn number 3. Is 44 going to let him go by, or is he going to try to go to the inside? Let's see how this works. They're still going to be battling side by side, but here comes the 7 now in tow. You got 2 separate packs here. You got Zimmerman all the way back to Honeycutt. And then you look further back. You got a second pack that's losing the draft a little bit here. About 4 seconds.
Brandon Zimmerman, your points leader, has a 3 wide battle behind him with Schlosser in the middle now. We've seen 3 and 4 wide multiple times tonight, and we're 20 laps to go. That opens the door for Joey Gattina out of Redemption Motorsports to run P2 right now behind playoff driver Brandon Zimmerman in the 65. Gattina looks to the inside. He's almost going to rub wheels with him coming out of turn 4 and back toward the start-finish line. He is muscling his way past Brandon Zimmerman as Zimmerman gets a bump from the 400 of Matt Schlosser. Schlosser just trying to get up here and away from the 33 of Alan Wild and the 44 of Glenn Campbell, as the Rhinestone Cowboy is going to chase him out of 2 and down the backstretch.
Watch that 7 machine. He going to make a move on the 400 here. Campbell now falling back to 4th place here. And it seems like the 65 of Zimmerman and the 44 Campbell have been swapping places, but you got Schlauscher, Wild, Katina in there. All three drivers trying to get past these two dominant drivers of the night here of 18 to go from Michigan.
Joey Gattina and Alan Wild, two teammates out of Redemption Motorsports, running third and fourth right now, trying to decide who wants to finish on the podium if the race were to end right now. All of a sudden, Matt Schlosser just hurls it down underneath Brandon Zimmerman here with 18 laps to go on lap number 63, and he suddenly steals the lead away from Brandon Zimmerman in the 65. Glenn Campbell working the inside. He's trying his best to try to muscle his way up there, but getting help from the 7 is the 65. So the 7 almost trying to telegraph a message. Hey, listen, bring me along. I can help. As now the doors open for Brandon Zimmerman to peek to the high side, bringing along Joey Gattina in the 7. He's got a run with a helper in the form of Kensley Smith. It is all kinds of crazy here atop the pile. It's even crazier back in the field as we take a look here. Shannon Wood now in the deuce, working just over top of Curtis Ecker in the Coca-Cola number 19, while Matt Schlosser is now your race leader. He leads ahead of Brandon Zimmerman. It is just mayhem at Michigan.
Mayhem at Michigan. I don't even know if you would call it mayhem at Michigan, but Schlauscher out front now battling for seconds, the 44 and Zimmerman in the 65. These two just can't get enough of each other here tonight. And look at this. This is just binding everybody up right behind them. So, I mean, this is getting really risky, Dave. Oh, contact. The 15. Oh! Kensley
There goes
Smith
the 15.
into the outside
Kensley
wall.
Smith around. Oh,
I don't know if that was
my.
intentional or that was just hard door-to-door banging there.
Listen, and let the fur fly on race radio, as now it just seems like everybody and their cousin wants a piece of Kensley Smith. Let's see what happened here from the drone cam's perspective. We see Kensley Smith right up against the 7 of Joey Gattina, who is challenging for the lead. Gattina comes down and basically pushes Smith out of the way using his car, and then clips the rear fender of the 15, bringing him to a merciful halt. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, in fact, in this league, take it on just like Gattina just did. We can see Gattina here as we're going to look from our drone cam from behind. Gattina just said, "I've had enough of you," and pushes his way against Smith, who now pushes back. It's almost like, I'll tell you what it was. It almost looked like, like a lightsaber battle, and they were just holding it against one another to see who was going to hit the wall, and it happened to be Smith.
Yeah, I guess all I can say is pretty much hard racing, Dave.
I've heard that rubbing is racing. That's what the great one,
hey,
Dallin
that's a
Waltrip,
famous
said.
saying, right?
Listen, if DW said it, it's got to be true.
Yeah. But I mean, look at it this way, though. The 15 of Kensley Smith is a playoff driver. The 7 is not a playoff driver.
Listen, I'm going to challenge you on this one. I don't care if you're a playoff driver or not. You earned your way up into that spot, and you have every right to defend your spot. What you don't have the right to do is to go out there and assault someone's fenders. Okay?
And you know what? I'm going to totally agree on you because I agree on that situation. It's equal. If you got that spot, you got that spot, but don't.
There's nothing more upsetting to me, both as a competitor and as a broadcaster, than to watch somebody say, "Oh, well, I'm a playoff driver. Can you let me by?" In fact, I used to have fits with that back in the day on SNN when I was a driver in the SNN Cup League, and it used to drive me nuts. "Hey, I'm a playoff driver. Let me through." No, I earned my way into this spot. I can't help that you mouthed it this week.
Not how it is. It doesn't matter if you're a playoff driver or not a playoff driver. You're going to be battling hard against each other because everybody wants to win. That's how racing is, and it's not going to be a knife through butter, I would say. It's not going to be easy. So here we are, 13 laps to go. Fourth caution of the night. What's our expectations, Dave? Because I know this 400 Sloucher is going to have a whole lot of hands full here.
Well, the expectation right now is to watch all of these guys take the gloves off and just go at each other fisticuffs. I mean, it's kind of like in hockey when you start to, kind of pester one another on the ice and, maybe you kind of jab at one another, but as soon as those gloves come off and you're staring at each other, looking at the whites of the other guy's eyes, you know that bad things are about to happen and someone's going to lose a tooth.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen overtime here. Just in my opinion. 400 Sloucher took that top lane. 43 of Teff took that inside. You see 49 of Hudson right there in the top 5. 28 of Stone. With 12 laps to go, field doubling up. First playoff race here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. Who's going to get the W? Will it be a playoff driver or will it be a non-playoff driver? It does not matter who wins. All we know is that it's going to be a heck of a battle. But you got to get a great restart here. You do not want to not get a great restart because if you spin those tires, you're going to clog everybody up behind you or you're going to fall back. So you don't want to do that. Ease into the gas, get that green flag, hope for the best. Watch where you're driving. Watch what other drivers are doing around you. If you know it's a risky move, don't do it. If you think it's not a risky move, go for it. That's all I can say. But if you're in second, you're a playoff driver trying to go for a win or a non-playoff driver, take it and see where it leads you. As you see the field now making their way into the Geico restart zone, green flags back in the air, underway for Michigan with 11 to go in the playoff race.
Matt Schlosser gets the jump over Alex Teft. Joe Hudson now coming in for the battle of third position. All of a sudden we see a lot of different names up here after that incident between the 7 and the 15 as Matt Schlosser gets a nice comfortable run just about a tenth of a second over top of Teft. A little bit of beer gas making its escape here tonight as Matt Schlosser and Alex Teft are duking it out. That opens the door for Joe Hudson in the 49 to go 3 wide and hit the bottom of the racetrack. He slides in front of Alex Teft, and our new race leader is Joe Hudson in the 49. He is hauling the mail right now with 10 laps to go, sliding right in front of the 43. He is defending the lead and somehow making that Toyota Camry 4 wide.
Well, with our new leader in that 49 of Hudson, he is out front, but don't look too far back. That 43 of Teft is very hungry for that win here tonight from Michigan. But Campbell still has a shot. It's in there in third. Looking pretty good right now. Just got to defend that spot, but also looking to move forward.
Watching now Curtis Ecker in the 19. We're going to go right on board with him as we have a moment to do so. He's watching this battle between Schlosser and Wild. Another Pennsylvanian bud here as the South Williamsport native in the Coca-Cola number 19 watches from behind. He can see all of this mayhem ahead of him, and at this point, he's kind of looking for a place that's safe to hide in case something bad breaks out. He sees the 400 sliding up, and he gets, if you listen to the RPMs, he gets a little bit of a side draft as he now gets along the 44, and I know how much you love the side draft, Daniel.
Yeah, I love the side draft word.
All of a sudden, Curtis Ecker running the 19 into 7th position. Joe Hudson, your race leader. Kevin Stone now in the 28. Kind of that Ernie Irvin number 28 machine with the Haviland look to it. Kenny Irwin as Brandon Honeycutt and Alex Teft are going to have to duke it out here in the 23 and the 43. Battle of the threes. Of course, the 23 being scored, or I'm sorry, the 13 being scored as the 23. The 44 of Glenn Campbell now starting to poke his nose down here once again in the 44, trying to chase back down that podium position that now seems to be all but secured in the hands of Alex Teft, as they are 3 wide, duking it out now, as they have cranked the heat up to crazy with 7 laps to go.
You see right there, the 44 Campbell still on that inside, but here's the problem that I have with the inside, Dave. I just feel like you're not going to get past somebody if you're running that inside line. You got to get to that outside. More contact. The wrecking in the middle of the pack here down the back straightaway. That's Honeycutt going around.
Honeycutt goes around. That can absolutely wreck your playoff hopes as he led us into the playoffs tonight. Let's take a look and see what happened here from Honeycutt's perspective. As we see contact, the 44 washing up into him. He gets against the 19, and just has no place to go. Not necessarily his fault, that's for sure, as we're going to go back to this once again from high above the racetrack. We see the 44 bump up. He bounces and ricochets off the 19, back into the 44, into the 19, and then takes the safety barrier right up the nose and spins down the backstretch, helplessly trying to bring the 13 back under control. Joe Hudson going to control this race once again now. And, you know, he had himself a little bit of a comfortable lead just over top of Kevin Stone and Alex Teft, but now that's going to all change with what should be somewhere in and about 4 to go. When we go back green flag racing, he's going to have to absolutely nail that foot to the floor.
I don't know if I would nail it to the floor. I'd probably glue it to the floor. Coming to the line with 5 to go. You see some drivers making their way down pit road. One of those drivers that look familiar is the 98, Andrew Teft, that came down pit road. I believe he's the only playoff driver that did come down. With Hudson leading the way here. Dave, who's your pick right now? You got anybody in mind that looks very strong so far?
The guy who crosses the start-finish line first when the checkered flag waves.
I like your answer
out of
because
all of
I
my
honestly...
experience in iRacing and out of all of my experience in motorsports, all I know is that the guy who's going to win is going to cross the finish line first with the checkered flag in the air above him.
I agree with you because honestly right now, I don't even know who to pick, but all I can say is that all these drivers have a chance that are inside the top 10 have a chance. But, like you said, whoever crosses the line first will win. So, folks that are watching, let us know in the comments, who are you cheering on right now? Are you cheering on our leader in 49 of Hudson? Are we looking at a playoff driver, non-playoff driver? Or do you know somebody in this field that you are rooting for? Let us know in the comments down below. Here with 5 to go from Michigan, crossing the line to 4 to go. And I think this might be a make it or break it for any of these drivers looking to get a W, because this could be our final start. Not sure, but whatever it ends up being, I know it's going to be a thrill of a ride.
Expect to see fireworks. I can promise you that.
I'm expecting to see fire on the track.
You might.
From those tires going very fast.
You might. As the iRacing.com pace car lights turn out, we work our way into turns 1 and 2. It's going to be Joe Hudson leading us back to green. He's opted for the high line. Kevin Stone going to be starting on row 1 as well on the inside. Alan Wild, Alex Teft, and Brandon Zimmerman in your top 5. Joey Gattina, Shannon Wood, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, Jason Burdick, and Jonathan Leach making his best run to, this season, as he's got the number 86 cranked up into 10th position. I don't know what he was thinking when he painted this car. We're going to have a chat about that. I think, look, I know I'm the one drinking, but I think he really was hitting the bottle hard when he painted that.
He might, Dave. I don't know, but
this is a guy who, when we landed in Miami, the first thing we did was crack through most of a bottle of bourbon.
Bourbon, yeah.
He was my drinking partner on night number 1 down in Miami last year. As we get ready to go 3 to go, when the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road, Joe Hudson with control of the field. He takes us out of turn 4, gets ready to hit the Geico restart zone. The field comes through the tri-oval, hits that restart zone, and Joe Hudson hits the throttle. We are 3 laps to go here at Michigan.
Let's see what happens as they enter turn 1. Everybody filing pretty clean here. Now getting spread out a little bit.
Side by side goes the faster passer, Stoney Benfield. He's chasing down Brandon Zimmerman. He's got a challenger in Shannon Wood from behind, as Wood and he are going to have to work together to try to catch up with this top 5 to get a top 5 for Stoney in his debut race tonight in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. Joe Hudson rolls out of turn number 3. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We are 2 laps to go.
Can the 43 of Teff make a move to get around 2 more drivers here from Michigan? He's going to have to figure a way, one way or another, get through 2 drivers in there in 3rd as they enter the back straightaway. But, I mean, so far, Hudson's pulling away 3/10 of a lead over the 28 of Stone.
Redemption Motorsports driver Alan Wild trying to challenge for P3 to get a podium finish in his first run. Non-playoff driver Joe Hudson leading the way with Alex Teft just behind in 2nd. Kevin Stone runs in 3rd as the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers.
Watch that 43 of Teft. He's gaining now down to 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second on Hudson now, coming off of turn 2. Will he get to his bumper? They enter turn 3.
All of a sudden, the 33 looks to make the move on the 28. This is the battle because Joe Hudson has control of the lead with Alex Teft. The 33 looks to the inside. He goes back to the high side. He's side by side with his teammate as they hit the Geico restart zone. Kevin Stone crosses 3rd. Your winner, though, here at Michigan in opening night of the playoffs this season is Joe Hudson driving the number 49. He's followed on the podium by Alex Teft and Kevin Stone, with Joey Gattina and Alan Wild rounding out your top 5. Brandon Zimmerman, Stoney Benfield, Ira Kohlhaas, Shannon Wood, and Jonathan Leach make out your top 10. We're going to get a chance to talk with Joe Hudson in just a moment as he makes his cool-down lap coming through turn number 3. We expect to see him celebrating on the start-finish line here at Michigan. What a finish, my friend. What a finish, Daniel.
Well, I must say, I think that was the finish that everybody was looking forward to, and Hudson hold off the 43 at Taft. Done very amazing job on that restart, and that's what's kind of key here, Dave. You got to get that good final launch if it comes down to these situations to get yourself out front, control that lead. That's what Hudson did here with 3 to go. Here he is in victory lane.
Well, Daniel, at this moment, we want to get a chance to speak with our race leader, or with our race winner, Joe Hudson, driver of the number 49. Joe, this is Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. You copy?
Listen, I hear you loud and clear, bud. All of a sudden here, and what I believe, this is your debut race, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Racers Elite Circle, Winners Circle.
Oh, thank you. It's winning never gets old.
No, the only thing that gets old is the people that bring you the trophy.
Hey, I just turned 59 a week ago, so you got to tell me.
Listen, my man, you just battled your way up here to get the lead. I mean, there was a lot of traffic all night long. You started in 3rd position. You hung around all night. You managed to put yourself in the position to win. Take us through this race. How did you get here on the top step with the trophy in your hands?
Well, one of my teammates there, Glenn Campbell, we kind of broke away there in that middle run, and he was a good bit better. But I did a little studying off of his line, and then on that last pit stop, we just took 2 rights, and he took 4, and that kind of leapfrogged him and got us out with some clean air. And I really think the clean air is what made the difference. So then we just held on, and it's awesome. Got to thank Hammertown Motorsports for all the help, all the guys working together. The league here, the Racers Elite, and you guys for doing the broadcast. It's awesome. A lot of really close racing. A lot of guys. I mean, a lot of giving, a lot of taking. It was fun.
Yeah, this was an exciting race from start to finish. Even here in the broadcast booth, we never ran out of anything to say. We never had to wonder who was going to make the next move because all of you were shuffling around here like it was the shell game at your local baseball park. But, next week we head on into Kansas. Now, of course, you're not a playoff driver, but here you are snagging one away from them. So that's always, nice as you get, a little bit of momentum getting ready to look toward next season. So congratulations tonight. Good luck next week at Kansas, and welcome to the Racers Elite Next Gen Series.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having us, and thank you for the broadcast. And again, good racing to all the competitors. They did a great job. We'll try it again next Thursday.
All righty, as we're going to bow gracefully out of the room. Daniel, I believe you have with you down there on pit road Alex Teff, driver, the number 43.
Thank you, Dave. I'm down here on pit road with the 43 of Alex Teff. Alex came up just one spot short here, finishing second. Tell me, what was going through your mind there on that final restart?
The goal was to get to the high side as soon as possible. I had taken 2 tires on that pit stop on the previous caution, so I wasn't sure how it was going to handle the heat cycle, but it actually took off pretty good. But he just got too far out, and it wasn't enough time to make up that kind of ground.
Tell me, how was your car handling? How was the grip out on track, and what do you think you could have done a little bit better?
Overall, racing was pretty good, very aggressive. People taking a 3 wide a lot. It was pretty much just they would run a train on you if you tried to go down to the inside to pass anybody. The high side was just so strong, especially in the draft. So, the goal was just stay up there as much as possible and not get shuffled out. But grip-wise, you were glued right to the track, but you just needed the draft and that high side.
Well, now the first playoff race is in the books. Michigan's out of the way. What's your expectations going into the next playoff race and throughout the rest of the season?
There's a lot of good tracks for me in this chase for this series. It's the only chase I made out of the 3. I think we got Kansas next week, and I should run pretty well there as well. Just on to the next one. Hopefully, keep it up front and get this championship.
And do you have anyone you would like to thank?
I definitely want to thank you guys over at Sim Racing Media. Thanks to all the new guys that joined the league this week, and got some a couple things to iron out, but I think it'll be good in the coming weeks. Then thank my friends that watching all the time and my girlfriend, and that's about it.
Well, congratulations, Alex, on a top 3 finish here in the first playoff race.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Dave, that was the 43 of Alex Teff, just finishing 1 spot short. Back to you.
Thank you, Daniel. And last but certainly not least on our podium tonight, Kevin Stone, driver of the number 28 Ford Dark Horse Mustang out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Hey, Kevin, it's Dave up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Dave. How you doing?
Listen, I'm doing good, but here you are in what I believe this is your debut race also.
Yeah, that's right.
So 2 debut racers here on our podium. I was pretty sure in the nc811.org Ford Mustang. I mean, listen, I know one of your teammates. I know that a lot of what was going on here on the racetrack tonight was just trying to feel your way through, but you came up 21 spots tonight and managed to finish on the podium. Take us through give us the traffic report. How was it slicing through all of these cars?
It was pretty hectic. there was a lot of lanes you could use and get through the traffic. Everybody here races clean. There's great group of guys here to keep it clean. But yeah, it was a battle. Just figuring out where the car would work. You get a few laps on the bottom, then bring it to the top. Seemed like the top was the preferred line. I even had some passes through the middle there. Yeah, we don't ever qualify very good. We got to work on our qualifying program, but we raced well tonight.
Raced well, you did. I mean, here you are coming in on opening week of the playoffs in this season, and, obviously you put on quite a show. A lot of the new faces that we saw tonight were putting on quite a show and challenging these playoff drivers. What are you thinking about as we go next week to Kansas?
Kansas, yeah, I struggled there in the race earlier on, not in this league, but in another league. Be something I'll have to work on and see what we can do. Being here in the chase and new, want to be respectful for these guys that are in the chase, and I did get into someone early on. I don't think they're in the chase, but I want to apologize for that. I don't remember who it was, um, but yeah, Kansas, whole different animal. It seems to want to be a bottom feeder track, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, my man. Well, listen, once again, congratulations on the P3 finish. Before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank, who do you need to shout out, and who helps you get it done here on the 28 team?
Yeah, I got to thank Redemption Motorsports, nc811.org, Stoney, Allen, my teammates, you guys at Sim Racing Media in the booth for putting this on. These admins here at Racers Elite, this is a great group of guys they got here. Look forward to racing more with them.
All right, my man. Well, one final time, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Kansas.
All right, thanks.
Well, Daniel, another one in the books here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. Obviously, it was a big night for everybody on the racetrack. And, with the playoffs now in full swing, this has to be one of the most important races that we see the rest of the year.
It sure is, and, this is what it's all about. You got to get that first race finished well so that it can carry on to the next one, just in case if something were to happen to you in the next one. But, these drivers put on a great performance. We saw Hutchinson hold off the field with 3 to go, got a great launch, got that restart that he needed, held off the 43 of Alex Teft, and now that we're going to pack our bags, move out west to the Midwest, go to Kansas, see what these guys can do, and I know they're going to put on a great performance.
Yes, sir. One final look here at our results from Michigan tonight as Joe Hudson captures the checkered flag here at Michigan Speedway, the house that Penske built. He's joined on the podium by Alex Teft and Kevin Stone. Joey Gattina and Alan Wild round out your top 5. And just as a little side note here, out of your top 5, that's 4 drivers that were making their debut starts tonight. Brandon Zimmerman finishes in 6th position, while the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, ends up with 7th position. Ira Kohlhaas, Shannon Wood, and Jonathan Leach make up the rest of your top 10, while Matt Schlosser, Jason Burdick, Brandon Honeycutt, Brian Wertman, Jason Bottoms, Sam Kohlhaas, and Diego Rodriguez finish through 17th. Mike Montesi finishes in 18th position, while 19th goes to Curtis Ecker, and Glenn Campbell rounds out your top 20. Gregory Robinson and Dakota Bly come home 21st and 22nd, while Troy Thomas comes home in 23rd. 24th position goes to Rick Kennedy Jr., with Truth Hoke coming home in 25th. Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Andrew Teft has an unfortunate mishap coming out of 2 and comes off the track in 26th position, while the 15 of Kensley Smith also dealing with some mishaps here on the racetrack tonight, finishing 27th. Dennis Kane, Marshall Harris, and Noah Tansman round out the 30 cars that took the green flag tonight, as Noah Tansman lasted just 5 laps before having to call it quits. So, folks, what a night it has been here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. We want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, for hanging out with us tonight. And quite frankly, I cannot be more thankful for you folks to be welcoming us into your home, onto your phone, and however you may be listening or wherever you may be. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, from Daniel Paulus Jr. and everybody here at Sim Racing Media. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please remember, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.